Hey you guys, are you ready for the best show in the Pacific Northwest? Here's my dad to his boyfriend and friend.
All right, look out now. Here we come. It's the Ron and Don Show, episode number 20, only on the Ron and Don Radio Network. Thanks for being patient with us. The show used to drop on Mondays. Now it drops on Wednesdays. It's all brought to you by us, Ron and Don. We are licensed realtors with our friends at Windermere. You can reach out to Ron at Windermere.com. That's Ron Upshaw at Windermere.com. Don O'Neill at Windermere.com. When you think of real estate, make sure that you think of Ron and Don. It was a picture-perfect day yesterday in the great Pacific Northwest. Our Seattle Seahawks are soaring at 5-1 right now. Who would have thought? It'd be the Seattle Seahawks everybody would be talking about, and the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC West versus talking about the LA Rams, who looked horrible.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, they looked absolutely horrible.
Super Bowl hangover for sure.
Russell Wilson now, MVP candidate with this team for 8 years, a Super Bowl winner, and breaking all kinds of records for your Seattle Seahawks and also throughout the NFL. Hasn't thrown a pick.
I know, that's amazing.
This year in 6 games. Are you still Russell Wilson, or as my son likes to say, a Russell Wilson hater, Ron?
I don't know if I was ever a hater. I was suspicious of Russell Wilson. I thought that he seemed disingenuous to me. Seemed like someone took him into a room at a marketing agency and like quarterback camp 101 and said, here are your talking points, stay on message, be a robot, be this like perfect human being robot. And that's what it seemed to be the case. I just read a really interesting piece by a former coworker of ours, Brady Henderson, who now works for ESPN, and you'll see him doing stand-ups for the TV side in his writing. And he did a really deep piece on Russell Wilson's performance coach and like his mental coach, and he has this entire team as a nutritionist, massage therapist, this mental coach. And when I read that, I was like, okay, does this make sense for how he presents? And after reading, I was like, yeah, it kind of does, because as an undersized quarterback, as a guy that was always told you're too short, you're not going to make it in the NFL, he had to change colleges because of a similar dynamic. And then Russell Wilson, all he does is just achieve and win. And so this story that he tells himself and the mantras and like the sort of manufactured thing, I think that really is him. I think he found something that worked for him, and he actively sort of tries to fend off negative thoughts or negative thinking, or he's built this framework, a mental model for himself that achieves. And so because of that, I guess while it's not the type of authenticity that I am attracted to just naturally, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been doing it for 8 years. Like you said, you don't hear stories of him off the field where he's getting in any kind of trouble or doing any sort of weird things. So I guess it's just him. Like that's the thing that he's into and that it works for him.
Yeah. I thought it's interesting because the Seattle Seahawks, they win the Super Bowl in 2013, and they do it with a really young team and some young players like by the name of Russell Wilson, and you look at Bobby Wagner, number 54. And when they were really struggling on the road yesterday, Bobby Wagner, you saw them on TV call everyone together, and he was talking to the younger guys, and he just said, hey, you know what? We just got punched in the jaw. We got punched in the face, and now we are going to punch back. And you saw the Seattle Seahawks do that yesterday, which is really hard to do in an early game on the road, and they did it against Cleveland. So, and the fun thing for me, and I know this dates the podcast talking about the Seahawks a little bit, and I don't care. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to watch the Seattle Seahawks play the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco and also in Seattle because we'll get them twice. And Richard Sherman is playing some pretty good football right now for the San Francisco 49ers. And let me ask you this. If you're in that arena, CenturyLink Field, and Richard Sherman walks out in a San Francisco 49er uniform, how are you going to react to that?
I have nothing but love for Richard Sherman. Yeah. Again, if you want to talk about life stories and life arcs, the Richard Sherman story of where he came from and what he accomplished, to me, that covers a multitude of sins. So whatever brashness people say or the rough edges, you put 10,000 kids in Compton, California, and have your dad be drive a garbage truck and say, hey, attain the highest level of professional sports. he's the one, maybe beyond 10,000, it might be one in a million kids to overcome that situation, not get involved in drugs when all of his peers got involved in drugs and gangs, to go to Stanford and to get a scholarship there and do the academic rigors of Stanford and get his degree and become a standout football player and then to make it in the NFL. So his story to me just trumps any of that. So he gets nothing but love from me. And he was part of the identity of that Super Bowl team. And you always talk about it forever, that the tip that he made that led to the interception in the NFC Championship game against the Niners was the reason why they made it to the Super Bowl. So I have nothing but love for Richard Sherman.
When you walk in my house, that tip, and it's the only Seahawk picture that I have in my house. But as you walk in, it greets you. That particular photo, and I have nothing but love for him too, and I love his story, and I love that even sometimes when he has to manufacture a chip on his shoulder, that he's able to do that, and he just makes the game really fun. And you talked about Russell Wilson, all the work that he does with Children's Hospital. You look at Richard Sherman, he goes back to Compton, California. He remembers where he comes from. And he has raised a lot of money for a lot of kids in a lot of those schools. And then he hands out his phone number. And he just says, hey, if you ever need a friend, if you ever need to talk to somebody, reach out. And that is unheard of. The other thing I love is his dad has vision in one eye. He's never crashed his garbage truck. And he still drives the garbage truck to this day in Compton, California, because he's like, you know what? That's my son's money. That's not my money. I get my money driving a garbage truck. How about that? Just getting started. It's the Ron and Don Show. Thanks for listening to us on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
You should buy a shirt. It's the Ron and Don Nation t-shirt. $5 goes toward helping kids. It's cops helping kids. Find out more at ronanddon.com.